Hi, welcome back to Dawn Digs In. I'm Dawn. I like to talk about living a happy, healthier life and things I'm doing in my life that you might find interesting or get value from. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, you are on the second week of our 3-week challenge of no exercise, watching our diet. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen the other episodes, that's fine. You can join us for this last week of this challenge. Now, the challenge was really simple. We were watching what we were eating because I had a revision and I couldn't do any exercise. So I was just being really aware to have a better diet. And it's been really good. Surprisingly enough, when you can't do something else and you need to replace it, it's pretty easy to watch what I'm eating when I know I can't go and burn off those calories doing something else. So I really need to be aware of the not snacking and what choices I make and making healthy choices. So it has been a good 2 weeks for me. I put on a pair of jeans this week that I haven't had on in a little while, not because they were too tight, but just because they were looser before, right? I could still wear them, I just didn't. So I felt really good about that. So it is these small non-scale victories that I'm really happy with. I've also said many times before, I didn't own a scale for a long time. I wasn't brought up with a scale. I was brought up with a pair of pants that fit, and that's what I used as my measure to try things on. I never owned a scale until we bought a gym. That is when I had to get a scale for my clients and started stepping on it. And I was not happy when I stepped on the scale. Now, not that I've ever had a weight problem, but I can understand how that would be depressing. How seeing a number could affect how you feel when it's not necessarily about the number. The other day I was watching a show, an interview with Oprah Winfrey. She has done a show that I have not been able to find anywhere. I've only been able to see these interviews that she's just recently done an hour-long show on weight loss, Ozempic and the different weight loss drugs and things that people have been trying. And she talks a lot about the people with 100 plus weight to lose and how, this is an epidemic and how this is a disease and it is really a problem. And I agreed. There are people that are predispositioned to gain weight easily and need help. Those are not the people I am addressing. I am addressing those people like me with the 10, 20, 30 pounds. We do not have those problems. We do not. Our problem is us. We are the one that create our own problem. We eat a little too much. We drink a little too much. We work out a little less because we're not overly concerned. Losing the weight is a want. It's not a need. We look okay. We don't really have a problem with it per se. But would we like to be better? Absolutely. Who doesn't want to be better? Who doesn't want to do better? So I put together a small list of a few things that will maybe help us through this last week. And things that we've talked about many, many times, but I know hearing them over and over and over again really, really helps. Now, number one was water first, right? We talked about that last week, water before coffee. While that kettle is boiling, you are drinking that glass of water. Get her done. That is one thing that you cannot falter on. You've got to drink the water. Your body will flush it. You will start using that water and all the cells in your body. Water, number one. Number two, start with the end in mind. Know your goal. Have you seen that little meme out with the bathing suit on the fridge? I'll stick it up here. I laughed so hard when I saw that because it's so true. You just need that little reminder. It might be a bathing suit. It might be a pair of jeans, but a realistic reminder of where you want to go. Don't make it crazy. We're talking about short-term goals here because that's number three. Short-term goals are really important. Take a 3-week, take a 60-day, take a 90-day, take a 30-day. I like short-term goals. That is 90 days is about my longest that I like to go on a goal. But it's a lot easier when you have an end in mind. Okay? I know within 3 weeks I want to see 7 pounds gone, or I'm going to do this for X many days. Give yourself a small goal, and it's a lot easier to bite off a small goal than it is to look at this overwhelming goal of having to lose 100 pounds. And I can't even imagine what that's like, but I want to make sure I never need to do that. And the way I'm going to keep from that happening is by continually sticking to these things. Now, number 4 is planning your meals, knowing what you're going to have. My husband does the groceries twice a week. He buys beef, pork, chicken, vegetables, a pizza mix. These are the things we have in the house. These are the things we eat. We know what's coming. We know what we're going to have. We keep it simple. don't go crazy. This is not the time to start making new meals. It's just not. Don't start trying new recipes now. You're on a journey. You need to keep it simple and something that you can easily do at any given time. So it's nice to know that, oh, okay, there's chicken today. What am I going to make? Am I going to do a stir fry? Am I going to barbecue it? Am I going to make some shish kebabs? Like, there's lots of options with every meat. So just have a couple of those options in your head so that you can constantly look after them, as well as having things in your fridge that are healthy. You know, having fruit. My husband buys lunch meat so that he can make a sandwich, because a lot of times he likes to have a sandwich for breakfast. But having the availability means you don't need to run out. You don't need to order anything. You have it there with you, so it makes making your choices a lot easier. Movement. We need to move. We need to move in some way. Now, even though I have been on this 3 weeks of no exercise, doesn't mean that I'm not moving my body. I'm still doing stretches. I mean, I love to do these stretches, stretching out from my body and out from my joints. And I really enjoy doing those stretches. So I've continued to do those stretches. I've also continued to do my Tracy arms. In the morning, I'm doing the Tracy arms from the mat video, the two of them, the one without the weights and the one with the weights. It's like 20 minutes long, and I just do it. I have to do something. I'm in that habit of getting up and doing a workout, so I have to do something. But it's not too jarring. It's not a lot of jumping around. It's just standing in one spot and doing these exercises, and I feel good when I do it. So movement. Now, if you are a treadmill person and you have a TV by your treadmill, watch weight loss shows. I know, it sounds crazy, but watch The Biggest Loser. Watch Fat versus Skinny. Watch any of these doctors talk about losing weight. Educate yourself, and watching these shows for me is so motivational. I will spend the whole 60 minutes on the treadmill just to watch this whole show. So instead of binge watching like maybe a favorite show, find a series like this on weight loss or something that you can find that will intrigue you and help you learn more about nutrition and weight management and exercise. Now, the last thing, weight is a lifetime battle. Whether it's 10 pounds, 100 pounds, we are always going to have to be aware. We are always going to maintain. It's not a one and done thing. You're not going to lose the weight and that's it and forever and ever I'm good. It doesn't work that way, because now when you've lost the weight, you got to go, how do I keep the weight off? What am I going to do? What's my plan? How am I going to get around this? So it's something that you're always going to have to be aware of. So the more awareness you can get, the better off you are going to be in the long run. You know how you always hear that conversation of, what would you tell your younger self about this or about that? Or what would you tell your younger self about weight? Now, I know that I could confidently tell my younger self that I'm happy with where I am at 66. I don't have to say, gee, I wish I'd lost that 40 pounds 40 years ago. I can say that I've always worked out. I've always been aware. I've always stayed on top of it. And I'm proud of where I've come in that journey. So if you are at that 40-year age mark and you are carrying around those extra pounds, do it now. Do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Do it for your health. Do it because in 40 years, you want to be able to say, I can still get around. I don't need a walker and I don't need a wheelchair and I don't need any of these things because I've maintained that healthy lifestyle. It's just so important that we get on it as early as we can. Don't wait until you have all these other health ailments to get on board with it. It's just something that I think a lot of people would have told their younger self if they had a weight problem, was to get on top of it a lot sooner than they did. So I hope you're enjoying our channel. If you are, please hit that like and subscribe. I always forget to ask, and it really helps get us up in the algorithm. I love talking to you in the chats. Let me know what you're doing. How did this 3 weeks go for you? Are you in your last week too? What little trick do you have for me? Somebody has to have a trick or a tip for me. So let me know. So until I see you next week, I hope that if you're working out, you have some amazing workouts. You're awesome. High five.